Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Manchester United won Kristiansund 0 at the Juvel Stadium in Oslo. This is now 5 wins out of 5 in pre-season, 10 goals scored and only 1 goal conceded. The goal came right at the end from the penalty spot from Juan Mata. I think it was in the 91st minute of stoppage time, and that was enough, of course, to give Manchester United the win. That obviously led up to the penalty. It was a lovely through ball from Paul Pogba. Obviously, found Juan Mata. Obviously, Juan Mata had been brought down by the goalkeeper. He got the penalty, and obviously, he converted the penalty, and that was enough to, of course, give Manchester United the win. But I am quite surprised by that result, because I thought would have actually won by a higher deficit and all that. But all that matters is, of course, Manchester United did currently get the win. I think we did actually play really well in the game. I also believe Kristiansund had their moments, but credit Kristiansund. I thought they held the line well. I thought they defended really well. To be fair to Kristiansund, they had quite a few chances, and I think they had the best chance of the game in the second half. They did Kristiansund. So potentially, I thought the players that played well in the first half. I think Scott McTominay played really well. I'd say he was my man of the match in the first half, Scott McTominay. And I think McTominay now is obviously gaining a bit more experience. Obviously, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But McTominay, had a couple of chances in the first half. I think one of the chances he currently hit the post. I thought Matic again was really poor, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Again, I thought Daniel James played really well. I still think there is improvements needed in Daniel James' game, but we saw glimpses of his electrifying pace, in that first half. I think his crossing, needs to improve, and I think Daniel James just needs to improve a little bit in the attacking third of the pitch. But we still know that Daniel James is a prospect, and of course he needs time to develop, does Daniel James, but he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I do believe that Daniel James did start on the right hand side. Obviously, again, Wan-Bissaka was absolutely fantastic in that first half, and what a fantastic start Wan-Bissaka has had to his Manchester United career. I do believe in every game he has played so far in pre-season, because he has played every one. I think Wan-Bissaka has been absolutely fantastic. So we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be, Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and I do believe both players are going to exceed at Manchester United. Rashford, had quite a lot of chances in the game. So basically, we had chances galore. So it actually could have been more than 1-0. Looking at Rashford, I think could have had at least 2 goals. I think of what I saw in the game, I think Rashford must have had around 4 or 5 chances. I do believe also Martial had a couple of opportunities. I thought Lindelof had a pretty decent game. But I thought my man of the match in the first half was McTominay. I don't think Lingard was that bad. I do believe that Lingard was playing in that number 10 role. But I think the initial 11, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did go with. I think, he, give them all 60 minutes. Then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did rotate the squad and obviously, put a new 11 out, I think, in the 60th minute mark. But the players, I was impressive of who came on in the game. I thought, Diego Dalot looked impressive, when he came on. I thought like Tuanzebe looked impressive, when he came on. Some people are orchestrating on saying that we should maybe loan Alex Tuanzebe out for another season. Obviously, he did well on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season, but I thought he looked impressive, when he came on, Alex Tuanzebe. I also thought, Pereira didn't look bad, when he currently came on. I thought Chon, was fantastic, when he came on. Obviously, he had a couple of opportunities in the second half. I also thought Mason Greenwood did really well when he came on, because he's had a fantastic start anywhere to pre-season as Mason Greenwood. I initially thought, I'd say my man of the match in the second half was either between Chon and Mason Greenwood. I will actually give it to Mason Greenwood, because I thought he did really well in that second half, did Mason Greenwood. Obviously, Paul Pogba, I thought again he was impressive, when he came on. I initially thought Paul Pogba, would have actually currently started the game, but obviously that didn't happen. Like I said, I was impressed with Chon. Also was impressed, with Fred when he came on. He had a good chance in the second half. But yeah, we did have a lot of chances in that game, but we only ended up winning the game by 1-0. Again, I thought Luke Shaw did really well. Obviously, he started the game. Obviously, Luke Shaw was our double player of the year last season. Obviously, on his impressive performances. So, I thought Luke Shaw, did really well. David De Gea, don't get me wrong, he had to make quite a few saves. Because Kristiansund had quite a few chances of their own. Their keeper, to be fair, pulled some world-class saves off, to deny us and all that. But all that matters is, of course, we have, currently got the win. So, like I said, 5 wins out of 5 now in pre-season, 10 goals scored and only 1 goal and that conceded. So I am overall, very, very happy. But I've got concern. This is the thing I've got a concern about, going on into this season. Teams that do part of the bus, like you can say Christian Sunday did this evening. I think it's going to be extremely difficult for us, to currently break teams down, that do currently part of the bus. But to be fair to Christian Sunday, they defended well this evening, and they had the best chance of the game, of course, in the second half. So Christian Sunday, to be quite fair, were actually unlucky. We thought we maybe would have won that game by maybe 3 or maybe even 4-0, not only winning the game by 1 goal to 0. But it doesn't matter how you win. It's all that matters is, of course, that Manchester United, did get the win. But it was a nice penalty, from Juan Mata. And I thought Juan Mata, like I said, he was also, impressive when he currently came on. So my man of the match was McTominay in the first half, because I thought he played really, really well. And I thought in the second half, Mason Greenwood did well. But I was very disappointed when the Man U Matic again. And I think when Matic is in that midfield, he totally, the midfield totally looks imbalanced when Matic is playing, because obviously he's static. And I've got strong concerns about the Man U Matic. Also, his touches concern me as well. Plus, he's not getting any younger. He's aging up. I think it's his birthday match. He's in a couple of days' time. But yeah, overall, I think the performance was pretty good from Manchester United. But like I said, Christian Sunday had their moments. But like I said, I can see the vast improvements already in the squad. You've got, Daniel James, he's got electrifying pace, and that's something we was lacking last season, that pace, and this is why we didn't score enough goals last season. This is why we wasn't ruthless enough in front of our goal last season. Maybe we was creating chances last season, but of course, we wasn't scoring enough goals. But we have got now that pace up front. You've got Daniel James with good pace. You've got Rashford with fantastic pace. He should have scored today, Rashford. Martial maybe should have scored today, but they've all got pace and all that. So we look much better in the attacking third in the pitch. Mason Greenwood, obviously, he's going to be assured more playing time this season, which is fantastic. He's going to get promoted into the first team. Is Mason Greenwood. He's only, 17 years of age, but I think he's had a fantastic start to pre-season. With Chong, I thought, Chong, he's still inexperienced at the moment, but I think he's also done really, really well in pre-season. So I think all the young players, more or less, have done really, really well in pre-season. But this is why I said pre-season is very beneficial, because it gives upcoming players a chance, to get more experience and that under their current belt. But like I said, there's only one game now remaining now of pre-season. We've got AC Milan coming up, I think, on the 3rd of August, and I do believe that's in Cardiff, and obviously pre-season's over. Then obviously the Premier League season is back, and we do go to we do play Chelsea on the first game of the Premier League this season. Obviously that's going to be a tough encounter. But like I said, there's still improvements needed in the squad without a shadow of a doubt. And I do believe Manchester United, well, we are hopeful, that we can get 2 transfers completed this week. And it's looking like them 2 players are going to be, Harry Maguire from Leicester and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, we do know in the game this evening, obviously, Lukaku didn't play. Obviously, because he wasn't part of the squad. Darmian didn't play because obviously he wasn't part of the squad. We do know Darmian and Romelu Lukaku are obviously both surface 2 requirements at Manchester United. Obviously we do know both players have been relentlessly linked to a move away from the football club. Sanchez obviously didn't travel with the rest of the squad either, because I do believe that actually Sanchez has been injured, or has he recovered from his injury now, but I know he was recently injured was Sanchez. With Eric Bailly, his actual future remains uncertain with Manchester United. Obviously he didn't play, Eric Bailly, because obviously he's been out with a knee injury. Well, he sustained this knee injury against Tottenham, did Eric Bailly, and it looks a serious knee injury he has sustained, so he's a huge doubt for this season. He's a huge doubt for this season and all that. So there's quite a few players that haven't made an appearance on pre-season tour. Obviously, I think Demetri Mitchell, he's been injured. I think also, Fossa Mensah, and that has been injured. Some people have actually said, we should orchestrate on, maybe loaning Alex Tuanzebe out for another season, because he did well on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season, and he actually did really, really well. I thought Alex Tuanzebe did well when he came on this evening. Angel Gomez, some people have orchestrated out saying we should loan him out. Some people said, we should loan Chon out because it may be beneficial for their futures, and obviously, he'll get them a bit more experience. But I've been very, very impressed in pre-season so far. But for me, these are still definitely lots to address in the squad. We have spent £68 million this summer on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and like I said, we have seen glimpses of what good signs they've proven to be so far. So it's looking actually very imminent that Harry Maguire is going to be our 3rd signing this summer. So that's going to take our spending up to around £148 million, because obviously we're going to get Harry Maguire for a world record fee of £80 million. Then I do believe believe we'll get Bruno Fernandes after. So I do believe Solskjaer's priorities now will be to recommend an experienced centre-half in, and he'll also want to add new additions in that midfield, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba. I don't actually understand, why Paul Pogba didn't start the game this evening, and we're also in search for a right winger. And of course, if Lukaku leaves the football club, we are currently going to need a replacement for him. But like I said, I'm very convinced we'll do more transfer activity, and it's very essential that we do get a couple of more players in, because he's now just under a week and a half remaining now this window, if I'm right. And obviously, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the players he wants, you can say the board have let him down, because initially the board assured that there was going to be backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer. And obviously, if he doesn't get all the players he wants, we'll criticise the board. We'll also criticise Ed Woodward. Obviously, he recently had been in the UK, to obviously oversee our transfer business, because obviously Ed Woodward is working on getting deals completed. He's obviously working on the Harry Maguire deal. I do believe he's also been working on the Sean Longstaff deal, but I'm very sceptical about Sean Longstaff now anyway, coming here to Manchester United, even though he has been on our agenda. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did give his analysis on this window. He hasn't become infuriated at all. He just basically said, we have to be patient. We've got two good signings in so far this summer. But yeah, we'll definitely do more transfer activity. I do believe we'll have a better season this season. I think we'll finish in the top 4, maybe finish in the top 3. I'm still sceptical about Manchester United winning the league, but Solskjaer spoke about our ambitions, and he believes we'll have a better season this season. I think this season we'll qualify for the Champions League. There will be a better season than last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We failed to qualify for the Champions League. We finished 6th. Obviously, we didn't win many silver, and actually, we failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the 6 seasons since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, because analysing the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at this present time is obviously Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, but the majority of this squad is not his at the moment. But like I said, we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, and we have been playing catch up since Alex Ferguson's retirement. We've had different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Hell of a lot of money's been spent. Players have come in, and of course players have gone and all that. But we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. But we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England historically. We have also got massive revenues and that. So we are still a massive club. But we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. But like I initially said, I think our expectations this season probably will be at least to finish in the top 4. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to exceed these expectations. I do believe Solskjaer's the right man, to definitely take Manchester United forward. And it's good in these pre-season games, he's more or less give everybody the chance, the fringe players, the young players, the experienced players. I think the odd couple of players have been disappointing in pre-season, but I think the majority of them, have obviously put a shift in and all that, and they've showed a good display. I think the only player for me that's actually been really disappointing has been Nemanja Matic, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, in the Premier League this season, probably everyone will more or less, will definitely get given the chance. Greenwood's obviously going to get more playing time. Chono will probably get more of a chance. Obviously, if Man United don't loan him out for this season, Tuan Zeba will get given his chance if we don't loan him out for this season. I do believe Lee Garner, what's his name, Jimmy Garner, is it, or something like that. I do believe he'll get his opportunity. So more or less, everybody will get the chance. Dalot will get his chance, even though Wan-Bissaka is going to be our first choice right back going on into this season. But like I said, there is actually still lots to address in the squad. But for me, some people said we don't need to sell players. Some people said we need to sell players, to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad even more. In my opinion, maybe we do need to sell players, because he's actually some problematic players at the club. Like I said, we need to sell Darmian, because he's enjoyed a really difficult time at the football club, and he's service to requirements now anyway. I think we also need to sell Rojo, even though he has been playing in pre-season as Rojo, because I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. I think we need to get rid of Lukaku, obviously, because he's now surplus to requirements at Manchester United. With Paul Pogba, his future, still currently remains uncertain. But I think based on the extortionate amount we've put on Paul Pogba, that could be the stumbling block of him making his proposed move away from the football club. But to be fair to Pogba, I think he's done really well so far in pre-season. With Martial, like I said, I've been very impressed with him so far in pre-season. I've also been impressed with Rashford, but, we do know, I think Martial looks very effective in that central position, and I think, we probably may consider playing Martial more centrally in the Premier League this season, because that's where he seems to be mostly effective. We do know, Rashford can also play centrally, but, both players can both play out wide. They can also both play centrally, but Rashford is also, supposed to be more effective centrally. But Rashford and Martial, they've been absolutely fantastic so far in pre-season. But for me, there is still lots that needs to be addressed in the squad. I think analysing that left-hand side, we're okay, because if you notice last season, that's where the majority of our attack was coming from. And obviously, we've got Luke Shaw, left-back, that's very reliable. We've got Daniel James. I know we've played him on the right quite a few times, but he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. Is Daniel James. So we're okay on that left-hand side. I think we need an experienced centre-half, definitely. We need a couple of new additions in that midfield, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba. And, we also need to recommend a right winning. I don't think we're going to get a right winning, because I do believe we need to add a bit more experience in that attacking line, in my opinion. But I don't think now we're currently going to get a right winning. So maybe we may get 2 more players in before this window does currently shut. It's a brilliant upgrade of what we've currently got at the moment. Some people may think it's not enough if we get Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes in, but it would dramatically improve the squad without a shadow of a doubt. But I want to give you the news now in regards to Paulo Dybala from Juventus, because big breaking news now has recently come out about him. So according to BBC, this is stemming from Simon Stones, and the BBC is a very reliable source. Also, Simon Stones, the majority of the time is very reliable. It's not only coming from the BBC, it's also coming from Sky Sports. I think it's also coming from the Times and all that. And it's in a number of media outlets saying that Manchester United now are in talks with Juventus over the potential move for Paul Dybala. So I do believe that Paul Dybala's agent is in London, according to reports. He's in London, according to reports. To hold talks with Manchester United over the potential swap deal for Romelu Lukaku. Now, obviously, Paul Dybala is considering his future with Juventus. Obviously, initially lost his place last season to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he did initially say that Paul Dybala is set to hold more talks with Maurizio Sarri regarding his Juventus future. But I do believe he's set to be told by Juventus that they are willing to currently sell him and all that. But Paul Dybala could still come to Manchester United as part of a swap deal with Romelu Lukaku, and I think the majority of Manchester United fans would go along with this, because I think this would be very beneficial for the club. Also, we do know Tottenham have been chasing Paul Dybala. Obviously, Tottenham have been in negotiations with Juventus over an audacious move. Obviously, Tottenham would have to smash their transfer record to get him, because Juventus, I think, value him at around £80 million. Tottenham have obviously only recently smashed their transfer record on Tanguy Ndombele, because Tottenham did pay around nearly £60 million for Tanguy Ndombele, and obviously Tottenham are orchestrating on putting Paul Dybala alongside Kane in their attacking line. But I think Paul Dybala would be the right type of player for Manchester United. I do believe Paul Dybala is aware of the speculation. I think his actual preference is to remain in Turin, but he's actually out of favour now with Juventus. But I do believe in the majority of his 4 years with Juventus, he's done really well. His goal scoring pedigree is very good. He did only score 10 goals last season, did Paulo Dybala, but I think in all competitions in his 4 years with Juventus, he scored 78 goals in 182 appearances. I think this is in all competitions. He's on the contract with Juventus until 2022. I think Juventus paid around, was it €40 million for him from Parma back in 2015, and he's on the contract with Juventus till 2022 and all that. And in his 4 years with Juventus, he's won 4 Serie A's and 3 Coppa Italians, and he's also versatile, which is beneficial. So I think he can play as a forward. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. So Paul Dybala, could actually end up making the move to Manchester United. So reportedly his agent is in London now to discuss a move for his current client to Manchester United. Also, the negotiating the swap deal involving Dybala and Romelu Lukaku, because obviously recent reports have indicated out now saying that Juventus are interested in Romelu Lukaku. But initially, I think if Lukaku leaves the football club, obviously we are going to need a replacement for him anyway, and I think Paul Dybala would be the good adequate replacement for him, because Dybala, I think, is just a bit younger than Lukaku. I think Dybala's 25. Of course, he has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but I think he would be the right type of player for Manchester United. And I think he'd blend in our attacking line really well alongside the likes of Rashford and Martial and all that. I think I would be excited about the prospect of Dybala coming in. But like I said, also, Tottenham have currently been in for him as well. But it's just, I think it actually reported out prior to the game this evening that, his agent, of course, had arrived in London. But with the news about, Ronald Lukaku, obviously, I said Juventus have recently, come into the equation. We've been in talks with Juventus and all that, involved in a swap deal between Lukaku and Paulo Dybala. Obviously, we've reportedly imposed a deadline on Romelu Lukaku, and reportedly we've given till Thursday, to engineer a move away from the football club. And obviously, Lukaku hasn't made an appearance on pre-season tour. Obviously, he didn't even travel, to Norway with the rest of the Manchester United squad. So obviously, that's going to add, that's going to fuel more speculation in regards to Romelu Lukaku's long-term future. Obviously, we do know for the entirety of the window, Inter Milan, of course, have been heavily linked to him. Obviously, they're trying to get the deal over the line for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, we've said to Inter Milan, we want 75 or 80 million pounds, so we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, or maybe even orchestrating on or maybe even orchestrating on getting them a little bit of a profit and all that. And Inter Milan have basically struggled to meet this valuation. They've struggled to meet this valuation because, with Inter Milan, they've been trying to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds. They've also, I do believe that they're under financial fair play restrictions. Obviously, I still believe Inter Milan are in talks with Manchester United. They've been in talks with us for quite some time. But I think if we sell Lukaku, it will be beneficial for the club. It'll also be beneficial for Lukaku himself, because he's now surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference, as being Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku. And obviously, it's not only that, you've got Martial now in that attacking line, you've got Daniel James in that attacking line, you've got Mason Greenwood in that attacking line, you've got Chon in that attacking line. So Lukaku is going to find it really, really hard, of course, to get there in the mix. But like I said, Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea at that point, he wanted Romelu Lukaku, but obviously he turned down Chelsea and ended up making the move to Manchester United and all that. And Lukaku did describe Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. So analysing it, Lukaku is keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance. But like I said, our valuation seems to be stunned. Like, I do believe Inter Milan have already had two bids turned down. They had a £54 million bid turned down the other week. I think they also inquired about getting Lukaku on a 2-year loan with the obligation to currently buy. But again, Manchester United didn't entertain this offer. So we do want around 75 or 80 million pounds. Obviously, as it did confirm a couple of days ago, obviously, Lukaku obviously, landed back in Manchester, obviously, boarded a flight straight to Belgium, to go and meet up with his agent, to discuss a potential move to Inter Milan and all that. And, Lukaku's agent, Federico Pastorelli, I think he was in Milan last week, and, he's held several talks with Inter Milan, and he did say that Inter Milan, of course, are desperate to sign him. But actually now, Juventus, could actually, hijack Inter Milan's move for Romelu Lukaku. For me, I think, if I'm speaking on Lukaku's behalf now, I do want to leave Manchester United, obviously, but I'm speaking on his behalf. And if I had to choose which team I'd go to out of Inter Milan and Juventus, I probably would choose Juventus, because probably Juventus will be able to guarantee him success. Maybe Inter Milan, won't be able to guarantee him success. And I do believe Lukaku a while back, was talking, about a move to Juventus, and I think he was excited about the prospect, of linking up with Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, in the Juventus team. So I think that would be more beneficial for his career, Lukaku's, of course, if he was to make the move to Juventus. And it'd also be beneficial for us, because we'd be getting Dybala as part of the deal of Lukaku, of course, going to Juventus. And but like I said, Lukaku's still got 3 years left in his contract with Manchester United, as you all know. Obviously, he's been at the club 2 years. I think he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. Lukaku, was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United. Didn't really replicate that form, of course, in his second season. So actually, he was a huge disappointment in his second season. But now, obviously, he is surplus to requirements at the football club. He is our second most expensive signing, is Lukaku. And I thought, we actually overpaid for him. And Solskjaer says we're not intending on overspending on our transfer tags this summer. But I definitely thought, we did overpay for Lukaku. Don't get me wrong, I'll credit Lukaku in that aspect. His pedigree is very good in the Premier League. He's scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, and he is well Premier League proven. And he's 26 years of age, Lukaku. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. So it is Inter Milan and Juventus, of course, that are still battling out for his services. So I think now he could go to Juventus, and we could get Dybala as part of the deal. And I would take that with a pinch of salt, because I think Dybala would be absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. I think he'd be reliable. reliable. You know, he'd bring us them goals that we do need. Don't get me wrong, I have got some concerns about Dybala, but Dybala's agent and brother, you know, came out a while back, you know, indicating out saying that, you know, Dybala could leave Juventus this summer, but he has initially lost his place in the team, you know, to Cristiano Ronaldo, because since Cristiano Ronaldo's arrival last summer at Juventus, obviously, you know, Dybala has found himself a service to requirements. But I think Juventus anyway are open to offloading a couple of their players, you know, to help them generate funds, because they spent an extortionate amount on Ronaldo last summer. You know, they spent quite a bit of money on De Ligt quite recently. You know, they also got Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey, and I do believe did Juventus. So they have done good business in that this summer. But yeah, that's the latest news about Paul Dybala. But like I said, I do believe our next two signings are probably not going to be Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes. Now, I want to give you the latest news now about Bruno Fernandes, as I have been updating you on a regular basis. Now, obviously, it did initially say that, you know, we are set to make our first formal transfer offer for Bruno Fernandes, according to the Metro today. And I think it also, you know, did get reported out in the Mirror. So I do believe, you know, that actually of what they've said, no fee as yet, you know, come to an agreement. After reports indicated out, I think early on this week, and it was over the course of the weekend, then she said that Manchester United had reached a transfer agreement with Sporting Lisbon for Bruno Fernandes, and it also said that around the £62 or £63 million fee had currently been agreed, and it indicated out over the weekend that Bruno Fernandes, you know, was set to fly to the UK for his Manchester United medical ahead of obviously ahead of his proposed move and that to Old Trafford. And it initially said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, has revealed that he does want to play Bruno Fernandes as a number 10, because maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that Bruno Fernandes, you know, that's where he'll be more effective in that number 10 position. Obviously, the number 10 is just behind the centre forward. But regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, you know, we still, of course, want to bring Bruno Fernandes in. So the situation with Paul Pogba, you know, it's never had any effect, and it's not now having an effect on Bruno Fernandes, you know, coming here to Manchester United and all that. So Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Maybe Milinkovic-Savic to Manchester United is dependent on, you know, what happens and that with Paul Pogba, but it's definitely, you know, not the case with Bruno Fernandes. I'd love both midfielders coming. I'd love Bruno Fernandes to come in. You know, I'd love Milinkovic-Savic to come in. If I had to choose out of both them, you know, I would love, you know, my first choice preference would be Bruno Fernandes over Milinkovic-Savic, but I would be still excited about the prospect of Milinkovic-Savic coming in, you know, and you know, playing them alongside Paul Pogba, because I do believe, you know, they complement each other, you know, fantastically well. But Bruno Fernandes looks a lot more probable than Milinkovic-Savic. Savage may not now anywhere, you know, come to Manchester United and all that. But the actual initial plan was, you know, to actually, you know, keep Paul Pogba and, you know, obviously, you know, bring two new additions in that midfield, you know, that could actually replace Ander Herrera and Mario Fellaini, because we do know Ander Herrera and Mario Fellaini have obviously, you know, both left the football club. 3 players have departed the football club, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, of course, got recommended in. But like I said, you know, it did basically say that we should get the transfer completed for Bruno Fernandes this week. Obviously, I think recent reports have actually, you know, indicated out saying that Sporting has been orchestrating on, you know, playing Bruno Fernandes in their game against Benfica on Sunday. Obviously, you know, that's in the Portuguese Super Cup. Then after that game, his transfer to Manchester United, you know, will be completed. So reportedly, he could make his farewell appearance on Sunday. Could Bruno Fernandes? But I do believe, you know, that Bruno Fernandes anywhere is informed his Sporting Lisbon teammates that he does want to leave Sporting Lisbon this summer, probably, you know, to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. But, you know, I've always thought we've been in there for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, we've been in for Bruno Fernandes for the entirety of the summer. You know, we've been in talks, you know, with Sporting Lisbon for quite some time. Obviously, as you saw reports the other week, it came out saying that some journalists came out and they said Manchester United, you know, we're not actually in for Bruno Fernandes. But let's see, you know, if, you know, more things updates about Bruno Fernandes. You know, I do believe Simon Stone's probably, you know, will report on it sometime. I think according to him, you know, we're not close to reaching an agreement and all that. That doesn't mean we're not in for him. That just means, you know, we're not closer to reaching an agreement as yet. Because I do believe a fee, you know, has actually, you know, not currently been agreed. But the boss of Sporting Lisbon, you know, he's had his overarching view on it all. You know, he's, you know, aware of the speculation and all that. You know, he's basically said that, you know, Bruno Fernandes could leave Sporting Lisbon. He did say his future is still up in the air. He is aware that throughout the course of the summer, you know, that clubs have been keen on currently signing him, and he did admit it's going to be hard for Sporting Lisbon to find an adequate replacement. But I do believe, according to recent reports, we have not even yet made our first formal offer for the player, but we are, you know, orchestrating on doing this. He didn't literally say last week, you know, we was orchestrating on putting around the £49 or £50 million bidding. Obviously, you know, that was too insufficient, because Sporting Lisbon value Bruno Fernandes at around £70 million. You know, I was reading Sky Sports the other week, and they said it was unlikely he was going to come to the club, because it did initially say we believe that the majority of the speculation about Bruno Fernandes was actually not stemming from Portugal rather than Manchester and all that. So that's what he basically said in Sky Sports last week. But Sporting Lisbon value him at around 70 million. The president of Sporting Lisbon, Federico Varandas, you know, he came out and, you know, notified Manchester United, you know, the type of fee we'd have to pay, you know, to you know, convince Sporting Lisbon to offload. So reportedly, you know, we have to pay upwards of £56 million and all that. So reportedly he could make his farewell appearance against, you know, for Sporting Lisbon on Sunday against Benfica. Then his transfer to Manchester United of course will be completed. Maybe he may not play in the game on Sunday, because maybe his move to Manchester United would have been completed by the time Sporting Lisbon, you know, do play on Sunday. But I do know for fact that I don't think he'll be our third sign this summer. I think it's going to be Harry Maguire that's going to be our third sign and that this summer. But like I said, you know, Tottenham and Liverpool, of course, have been credited with an interest in Bruno Fernandes. You know, they were in for him for quite some time. I don't know if they're in for him now. I don't think they are. But we do know Bruno Fernandes' agent, you know, has, you know, been in the UK quite a few times. Obviously, he's looking for the best possible deal for his client. Manchester United, of course, have held a few negotiations with him. But like I said, he's the right type of player for Manchester United. I think he'll dramatically improve in that midfield. He'll bring them goals that we need in that midfield. You know, he can also provide assists. His work ethnic's good. His tenacity is really good. He's also very, very good from set piece. Is Bruno Fernandes. So I'm excited about the prospects of him, you know, coming in. You know, I think, you know, we need two new midfielders. I'm sceptical about one just coming in. I think, you know, we need two midfielders to come in. So if it was Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic Savic, I would be very impressed. Obviously, if Bruno Fernandes comes in and Paul Pogba leaves, then I do believe, you know, we definitely, you know, need another midfielder there then. But like I said, with Bruno Fernandes in his 2 years of Sporting Lisbon, he's been fantastic. You know, he's I think he scored 31 or was it 32 goals last season in 50 games, and he's exceeded expectation levels in his 2 years with Sporting Lisbon. You know, I thought he also did well in Italy when he was younger. You know, he had good spells at Sampdoria and Udinese, and obviously, you know, he grew up in that Italy, because he spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger. But Bruno Fernandes is only 24 years of age. You know, he's still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around £88 million. But as it reported out a couple of days ago, as it reported out a couple of days ago, you know, our fans had been put into meltdown. Obviously, you know, Bruno Fernandes, you know, went off crying in Sporting Lisbon's 2-1 defeat to Valencia, and that we initially thought that was obviously, you know, his farewell appearance. But it turns out now that Sporting Lisbon do want to play Bruno Fernandes against Benfica on Sunday, so that actually, you know, could be his farewell appearance. But definitely, you know, more things will update about Bruno Fernandes. I do believe he's actually, you know, primarily an attacking midfielder, but I do believe, you know, Bruno Fernandes has held quite a few negotiations with his representatives over his proposed move and that to Manchester United. But for quite some time, Sporting Lisbon's valuation is seen to the stumbling block anywhere. You know, it's been seen to be the stumbling block of Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Because obviously, you know, we've struggled to come to an agreement on a fee. You know, basically, you know, we're not willing to pay what Sporting has been demanding. Obviously, it didn't actually say the other week that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, wasn't going to be backed for this particular signing. He wasn't going to be backed for this particular signing because it said the board had concerns about spending quite a bit of money on a player, you know, that knows little about Champions League football, hasn't really got the experience of playing to the highest level. But yeah, he would be the right type of player, and that for Manchester United. So if our next two signings are Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes, you know, we'll discard of what we've spent on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. You know, it's going to take our spending on what it'll cost us in total for Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire. I'd say probably around 142, maybe 143 million pounds, because we'll get Harry Maguire for 80 million. Say Bruno Fernandes around 60 odd million, so that's going to amount up to around 142 or 143 million pounds. But don't forget, reports did say over the weekend that Manchester United had agreed a 63 million pound fee with Sporting Lisbon, and this is, you know, was actually not stemming from the Italian press and all that. But we've been considered the favourites anyway to sign Bruno Fernandes, at least for the last couple of weeks. But Sporting Lisbon have been playing hardball. You know, they haven't been quite reliable in this window. You know, they showed he was going to be going to Manchester City a couple of months ago, but his move to Manchester City never materialised because obviously, you know, Manchester City had withdrawn their interest, and yeah, so hopefully, you know, Bruno Fernandes, you know, can, you know, come in. The news about Harry Maguire now, I think, he should be our third signing this summer, and I know for a fact that Harry Maguire, will address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well. As you all know, recent reports did say that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had instructed Ed Woodward, obviously, to get the transfer completed for Harry Maguire, and I do believe, like I said, this was following the serious knee injury that Eric Bailly had currently sustained. But obviously, Di Marzio, like he initially said, with the Bruno Fernandes situation, he said today, that Man United, obviously, close to signing Bruno Fernandes. Di Marzio said this today, like he updated you on my last video. He also said yesterday, Di Marzio, in regards to Harry Maguire, he said Man United are for the Harry Maguire deal are in the closing stages. As you all know, I do believe Harry Maguire has been back in training today. Obviously, he currently skipped training yesterday, so obviously, that stirred up suggestions a little bit. But I do believe it initially said that Harry Maguire has actually Harry Maguire has lost his patience with Leicester, obviously, with their reluctance to sell him to Manchester United, because obviously, Harry Maguire has blatantly made it clear that he does obviously, want to leave Leicester, because obviously he wants to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level, does Harry Maguire, and he's obviously informed Brendan Rodgers. He's also informed his Leicester teammates that, of course, he does want to leave Leicester. Leicester did tell him that he can leave as long as, we're willing to pay what Leicester are currently demanding. So we are set to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. Obviously, this will make him the most expensive defender in the world. And obviously, the fee we do get him for, it's obviously going to exceed the fee of what Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk back in January 2018, because Liverpool paid around £75 million for Virgil van Dijk, as you all currently know. But I think Harry Maguire, is the right type of player for Manchester United. I think we also initially been given a boost in our pursuit of Harry Maguire, because obviously Brendan Rodgers, recently came out. He's been speaking about the valuation about Harry Maguire. He has, been talking about the potential bids and that have been put in for him, and he did say that 2 bids have been turned down for him. Obviously, we've already had a £70 million bid turned down for Harry Maguire, but reportedly, Brendan Rodgers, he insisted that there is no cut-off date, in which no longer Leicester would consider selling him. So that's very, very good news indeed, because reports came out quite a few weeks back saying that allegedly, Brendan Rodgers and that had imposed a deadline on a potential bid for Harry Maguire. But I do believe now that's not currently the case. So that's very, very good news. But we haven't come to an agreement on a fee yet with Leicester, but we're willing to pay what they're demanding now, which is good. And Di Marzio said we're closing in for him. We were closing in on him yesterday, which is absolutely fantastic. Recent reports indicated out saying that Leicester do want a higher transfer fee up front. The Daily Mail and I think a couple of other media outlets reported on that a couple of days ago. This is what they basically said. They want a higher transfer fee up front. The reason is because they're sceptical that Manchester United will qualify for the Champions League this season. Leicester. So reportedly initially said we'd offered around £72 million. It also said there was additional bonus payments due to be paid, if we secure qualification for the Champions League this season. But reportedly, they're demanding a higher transfer fee and that up front. I still believe Ed Woodward remains in the discussions with Leicester, to get the deal completed for Harry Maguire. But, we've been in talks with Leicester now for quite some time. Obviously, at one point, Manchester City were in for him. I don't think they're in for him now, but they were in for him. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking like, Man City were going to get Harry Maguire. Obviously, City would orchestrate on paying him around 280 grand a week. City we're going to get him initially for 18 million, but obviously City had withdrawn their interest because City are not willing to pay what Leicester are demanding. City are only willing to pay around £65 million for his services. At one point, his actual Harry Maguire's preference, was to actually make a move to Manchester City, but City, I think, initially withdrawn their interest, and I think he wants to come to Manchester United. Harry Maguire, so obviously he wants to relish this opportunity. But like I said, I think he'll be fantastic. I think he'll blend in fantastically well alongside Lindelof in our back line. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified him as his number one defensive target. And I do believe, Victor Lindelof is excited about the prospect of Harry Maguire, playing alongside him in our back line. But Harry Maguire, I think he's done well in his 2 seasons with Leicester. Of course, he's well Premier League proven, which is beneficial for Manchester United. He's 26 years of age. Of course, he's British. And there's been a lot of British players on our agenda. We've already brought 2 British players in, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British players to the football club. But Leicester, You know, he's been there 2 years, you know, 69 appearances, 76 appearances in all competitions. You know, 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. You know, only signed a new long-term contract, don't forget, with Leicester last summer, so he is under contract with them until 2023. You know, Leicester only paid around £17 million for him from Hull City a couple of years ago. So looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, Leicester will make a huge profit on the player when they do, of course, get £88 million to him. Well, initially it was in our plans, you know, to actually, you know, I think it recently said, I updated you on that, we're looking to sell Romelu Lukaku first. Then we're going to generate the funds from his departure, then put them funds, of course, on Harry Maguire. So he said we're ready to sell Lukaku. Then we was set to sign Harry Maguire and all that. And but like I said, Solskjaer's identified him as his number one defensive target. But I do believe now he's transferred to Manchester United. He's definitely not looking very, very imminent. Obviously, them stories, you know, got proven to be sceptical on the 2 occasions where it initially said Man United had agreed a world record fee of £80 million for Harry Maguire. You know, he got sent out on that Sunday the other week. That, you know, it came from Bleacher Report saying that we'd agreed a fee. Duncan Castles reported a couple of weeks ago saying that we had agreed an £80 million fee. Obviously, you know, them stories got proven to be cynical and all that. So obviously there wasn't any credibility in that. But we are set to pay the £80 million what Leicester are demanding. Some people think £80 million is reasonable. Some people think maybe £80 million is too much. I definitely think £90 million is too much, and probably for £90 million you'd be able to get Koulibaly with that. Maybe it may just cost them a bit more than £90 million. But Leicester are under no financial pressure to sell him anywhere, and Leicester do know how much of an imperative player he is. Maybe the club are orchestrating on, you know, selling a central defender if Harry Maguire does come in, because we have got a lot of central defenders. We've got around 5 or 6. You've got Smalling and Jones. You know, they're too inconsistent now with Smalling and Jones, but we do know they're going to be remaining at the football club. Obviously, you know, Smalling and Jones have been 2 long-serving players at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, we've got Eric Bailly. He's a good player, but he's injury prone now. You know, we've got Rojo. You got Lindelof. You know, we've no intention of selling Lindelof, and you know, I know there was a lot of talks about Lindelof going on the other week. You know, allegedly linking him with a move to Barcelona, but obviously, you know, Lindelof himself, I think, dismissed the speculations of him linking himself with a move to Barcelona, because the media was actually not talking about that, was it, a week or two back now. But with Lindelof, I think he's a very good player, and I think he's, you know, flourishing in this Manchester United team. I think he had a great second season with the club. Not so good in his first season, didn't really settle in, and that lacked consistency, but I thought there was vast improvements there in his second season. So I think him and Harry Maguire in our backline will be fantastic indeed. But Harry Maguire isn't very fast, but I don't think that's an issue. But I think his defensive abilities are good. He shows that ability to play out from the back. You know, his passing accuracy seems to be pretty decent as well. He's nowhere near as good as, you know, Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool, but I think he'll dramatically improve his defensively. We haven't had a world-class central defender since we had the likes of Vidic and, you know, Rio Ferdinand and all that, as you all currently aware of. But, you know, last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, so that was our highest total, I do believe, in 40 years. So that just indicates out the issues that we've got defensively. And but like I said, it's looking like, you know, Harry Maguire is currently going to be coming in. Obviously, we'll have to break the record for a defender, and so yeah, it's looking like, you know, he's going to be coming in. So I think he's going to be the third signing. But like I said, Damasio, a lot of the time, you know, seems to be very reliable anyway, and he's reported out on these 2 stories, you know, about, you know, Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes, and he's given his overarching view on both of them, and he's said that Manchester United are close to signing both players. Damasio sometimes isn't always reliable, but I think, you know, the majority of the time he's reliable, you know, in terms of transfers and all that, you know, which is obviously, you know, very, very good news. He has got a few things wrong in the past as Damasio, you know, he got Fabinho wrong. I think he's got a few others wrong as well, so he's not always reliable, is Damasio, and, you know, he came out a while back as well, and that got proven to be a lot of nonsense, you know, about Mario Icardi coming to Manchester United and Lukaku going to Inter Milan, so that obviously, you know, never came true, because obviously at one point there was talks of Mario Icardi and Romelu Lukaku as a potential swap deal. But yeah, so I do believe we are going to get a couple more players in before this window, you know, does currently shut. But like I said, with Milinkovic-Savic, obviously we do know he's moved to Manchester United. He's dependent on probably, you know, what happens with Paul Pogba. I do believe, you know, no fee has been agreed, you know, between Manchester United and Lazio, so no fee has currently been agreed. I do initially said that we'd agreed the personal terms with Milinkovic-Savic. It also said we was orchestrating on paying him around 4.4 million a year. You know, I do believe Milinkovic-Savic's agent is obviously in the UK. He's holding talks with Manchester United, and he obviously arrived in the UK last week. And it also said that the Lazio president, he's come out and said allegedly that you know, Lazio are considering offers from Milinkovic-Savic, and the boss has come out and give his overarching view. He's aware of the speculation. He said he knows how much of an essential player he is. Milinkovic-Savic did Lazio boss, but he said maybe the club are going to be Lazio are going to be forced to sell if a suitable offer and that comes in for him. I do believe Lazio want around 91 million euros, which equates to around 81 million in pounds sterling and that. But we've been relentlessly in for Milinkovic-Savic. I would be excited about him, you know, playing alongside Pogba in our midfield, because I do think, you know, they'd combine really, really well and all that. And, you know, Milinkovic-Savic in the majority of his 4-year period with Lazio has done, you know, pretty well. You know, I'll give him the credit. You know, he has in some portions of his 4-year period, he has been a disappointment as Milinkovic-Savic. But like I said, in his 4 years with Lazio, you know, he scored 31 goals in 138 games in all competitions. Obviously, he only signed a new deal last October with Lazio, so he is under contract with them until 2023. And I do believe Man United, he did, as you say, had progressed in talks and that with Lazio, but he allegedly said that Milinkovic-Savic has informed his Lazio teammates that he will be leaving Lazio and that this summer. But was in for him last summer. I do believe last summer Lazio said they wanted around over £100 million for him. I think he did, as you say, quite recently, you know, we were set to get him for around £72 million, because reportedly this is what Manchester United were only willing to pay. I think one report said quite recently Lazio wanted 90 million, so we was around 18 million. We was 18 million pounds short of their valuation. You know, Milinkovic-Savic is 24. You know, he's Serbian. You know, he's primarily a central midfielder, so mainly box to box, but can also be deployed as an attacking midfielder. But you know, if I had to choose out Milinkovic-Savic and Bruno Fernandes, it would be Bruno Fernandes, my preference over Milinkovic-Savic. But I'd love both of them to come in. But I'm sceptical about both of them coming in. I think Bruno Fernandes looks a hell of a lot more probable than Milinkovic-Savic. But he's moved to Manchester United anyway. He's dependent on, you know, what happens with Paul Pogba. With David De Gea, like I said, he made some good saves today in that game. Obviously, you know, Romero did come on and that, I think in the second half. So it's good that Romero's giving his chance. With De Gea, obviously, he's agreed a 6-year contract with the club. I don't think it's been announced as yet. You know, I haven't heard any news in the media at all. I don't think it's been officially announced as yet. I think it's set to be announced when we actually return from pre-season tour. So maybe at the end of these maybe after the AC Milan game, you know, actually, you know, could be fully announced his contract. You know, David De Gea's, but he said he's agreed a 6-year contract with around £117 million over 6 years. That's obviously going to make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he's going to be on around 375 grand a week. So it's good that David De Gea, of course, is going to be remaining at the football club, which I'm very, very happy about. So yeah, very, very happy about that news. But you know, Solskjaer did say he was confident he was going to sign a new deal anyway. You know, but he has agreed his 6-year contract now. But I don't think his contract has been fully announced. But it should be announced, you know, whenever. But we'll be straight. We will give you, you know, I will do a video, you know, when his contract is currently announced. But like I said, yeah, very, very happy, you know, with the game there today, this evening. You know, won the game 1-0, you know. Obviously, you know, it was a hard-fought win, to be quite fair, but we did have a lot of chances in the game, so it actually, you know, should have been more than 1-0. But, you know, more or less everybody, you know, got the chance, which was good. But I thought man of the match in the first half was McTominay, and I thought in the second half, you know, Mason Greenwood, you know, also, you know, did really, really well. You know, Rashford should have scored. He had a lot of chances this evening. You know, Martial had a couple. You know, McTominay had 2 good chances in the first half. Phil Jones had a great chance as well in the first half. Fred, when he came on, he had a good chance in the second half. So, you know, it actually, you know, should have been more than 1-0. But fair play to Paul Pogba, you know, for the pass he Freddie through for Juan Mata, you know, for Juan Mata to get that penalty. You know, Juan Mata, you know, converted the penalty, and obviously, you know, that was 1-0. And like I said, very, very good result for Manchester United. Obviously, like I said earlier on, we go to AC Milan now on the 3rd of August in Cardiff, and then that, obviously, you know, that's it. Pre-season is over, and I think we play Chelsea on the 11th of August. And yeah, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he'd have been analysing the games, you know, in pre-season so far, and he'd have picked the best performers out. You know, he'd have thought, you know, maybe some players haven't performed to their potential level. So it'll give, with this pre-season, it's going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer an idea, you know, who to, you know, go with in the game against Chelsea and all that. So it's, you know, like I said. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.